Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to another episode of our Suzerain Let's Play, as we pick things back up, still with Chapter 1. Last time we spent a lot of time getting to know the different factions and our obstacles, as we have just become the President of the Republic of Sordland, and we start our day once again with some new news. A Committee for Reforms. Speaker, Gloria Tory, said that a committee which includes all three political parties of the Assembly has been formed for the preparation of potential changes to the Constitution. The committee has been asked to submit a comprehensive report to find a solution for the current problematic state of affairs in the governmental institutions. Tory said USP wants to appeal to the people of Sordland to help in maintaining stability and order in the state. Detail of the committee regarding its actual topics and its members have not been clarified. She's the Speaker of the Assembly. Support in Assembly grow for campaign finance bill. A bill to change the criteria for the allocation of public funds to political parties is proposed by Representative Albin Colvin from the USP. The bill aims to change the criteria from the proportion of vote won in general election to the proportion of seat won by a political party in the Grand National Assembly. This will result in an increase about 28 million, Sordland currency, to the governing party of United Sordland Party, which will benefit the most from the proposed bill. The new bill would give political parties an annual amount of 500,000 per member of assembly. Interesting. The Swedish National League starts season. It's a very exciting day for the Swedish National League kickoff with SK Lekvin. So this is the soccer league, I guess, or football, as the rest of the world says. The league consists of nearly 10 teams, which has been gaining more and more popularity in recent decades, with ticket dropping significantly in price, leading to increased accessibility. Football fans are looking forward to one of the key events of the league, the match of the two most competent teams, FC Enrica and FC Gasord. Or Gelsord. And we have Geopolitical finally writing their first article. Rumburg, the dangerous country to the north, coming south. Our foreign policy analysts are reviewing the recent aggressive military and diplomatic development of Rumburg, which comes to the conclusion that it's highly likely that Rumburg will keep trying to push farther south, threatening the territories of Sordland, Willen, and possibly Nolia. The annexation of Dome many decades ago was just the beginning. Rumburg seems to be on a quest to secure all strategic resources in East Mercopia. Okay. Alright, that's the news, and we got a few more new events. Dire. The region of Bergia is among the worst hit region in Sordland, where homelessness has skyrocketed since the economic recession. The number of homeless in the city have increased by 25% in the last year, particularly high with the Buddhist people, which homeless increased by 72% in just 6 years. So basically, ethnic minority here is a big issue. Disproportionately hit by the economic hardship. And that's all the news pop-up except for the capital. Let's first read the report. People's view on the need for diplomatic reform in the government structure has changed over the last decade. Reformist propaganda from the leader of the People's Freedom and Justice Party, Ferns, has resulted in a massive increase in demand for diplomatic reforms. 55% of the population supports reformist ideas. And we have a meeting and a briefing on the economic. So we can do the meeting first on media strategies. Lucian and Peter are back at the office. They both took their seats across from me. Lucian put on his reading glasses and quickly went over some documents. Peter turned to Lucian and nodded. Let's begin. First of all, Lucian, you mentioned that Marcel Coronati contacted you. This is the businessman we hope to get in touch with the big business conglomerate group in the country. He is a media expert and also dabbled in tourism. Coronatis has always been known as one of the richest and most influential families in Sordland. He was the eldest son of Cornrath, No picture. Probably dead. 5 kids. Media mogul. Lucian turned to me, or he is, so I guess he's still alive. He has offered to meet with you, Mr. President. What does he want? After the passing... Oh, his father is dead. May he rest in peace. Marcel aims to become the next CEO of the HOS, Heart of Sordland conglomerate. He mentioned a productive collaboration. They are powerful and influential media conglomerate to start with. They own the Sordland Today newspaper, the Swedish Broadcasting Corporation, SBC, which means it will be wise to have them by our side. Sorry for interrupting. Yes, let's look at our options. I agree, we need to be careful. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, we need to determine our general approach to media. I'm no media expert, but Lucian made some very interesting arguments at the presentation meeting yesterday. There are 2 ways we can approach the media. One of them is by influencing it, which has clear advantages. The other is keeping it independent. We would like to use it as a tool. I agree. Media plays a huge role in adapting public opinion towards our views and policies, which help while helping us to avoid damages from scandals or mistakes. While I do acknowledge that this will sound a bit harsh, I certainly believe that our perspective, knowledge, and experience allow us to have superior judgment compared to the average Swedish citizen. And I do share your opinion. I concur. Even if we don't use it, we should be able to have control over it. You both are aware of my certain expertise with public opinion swaying. I will make sure the media is on our side. 2 knocks were heard at the door. Who is it? It's Livia, Mr. President. Our first secretary, it seems. Livia Suno is a private secretary of me. She is tasked with directly handling most critical calls, scheduling, and paperwork. Previously worked at the Swedish airline headquarters as secretary of the director before starting her work for the USP. Oh, just this year. To assist Peter. Interesting rise to power here. My new secretary enters the office. Her dark curls bounced as she crossed the room to my desk. She spoke with a slight lilt in her voice. Excuse me, Mr. President. Mr. Galladay's secretary has been calling me and wanted me to relay a message. This is Lucian. Marcel Coronati, the new CEO of HOS Conglomerates, on the line for Mr. Galladay. Well, the ball is in our court now. Would you like to talk to him, sir, or would you like me to? You go ahead. You're the one who got called. Right away, sir. Connecting the call to line 1. Lucian pick up the phone and start to listen. A few minutes pass as the 2 talk over the phone. Good news indeed. Congratulations, Mr. Coronati. Thank you for contacting me about this. We'll talk later. What was so important that I couldn't wait? He was just elected CEO by the board of directors. He offered a partnership deal regarding his media branch. He's inviting us to his resort near Conrads for a meeting. We can find it on the map later. It's the only port city, but can only dock 2 container ships, which makes Lock Haven the primary. It's in our region, Hosord, so it's over here probably. There was a great fire because of a naval attack. Full of luxury housing. Purebred. Sorry, the house. Horse farms. Okay. The board has decided rather quickly. It seemed to have gave him the confidence to approach us again. He is going to offer a real deal and now has the power of Conglomerate 2. The choice is up to you, Mr. President. I can set up the meeting soon. Peter, what do you think? I have to say I'm torn. If he has become the CEO, then he has enormous influence now. On the other hand, do we want to privately meet with someone we don't fully know? The meeting will help us figure him out. We could still say no to whatever he offers. Arrange the meeting. I'll set things up right away. Expect a worthwhile meeting next month. It's settled then. Looking forward to next month. I wonder if he has a pool. Lucien looks at his watch. It appears we're done for today. We'll continue where we left off. See you soon, gentlemen. We don't know if it's gonna net us any good work here. And we got ourselves some more news and a new codex. Turn 1. Interesting. We still have to brief the economic situation, but there's other things as well. Any new development on the map? No, but we do have a few newspaper. Conrad Roti passed away. Yes, we have heard. The radical, glamorous inauguration ball. Haha. So the left is punishing us for hosting the inaugural ball. Sordland regional trade. As the Rayne administration starts its first term, there is a question in all our heads. What will be the regional international trade policy? Due to the strategic geopolitical location of Sordland, historically, Anolia and Wayne have been our natural trading partners. Depending on the direction of Rayne's administration, we think it's likely that a new trade deal will be brokered with at least one of these partners in the near term. All in all, regarding the trade partner the administrator decided to go with, one thing's for sure, regional trade will boost the alien economy. What does Vagisland and Lesbia think about Sordland? Okay, I'll worry about that later. Let's first read the report. Any potential changes will result in the expansion of executive powers will likely result in strong opposition from the People's Freedom and Justice Party. However, Kibner of the National Front Party seem to be interested in working together with the committee. So with their 40 votes, we would have 170, assuming we can keep everyone in line. That would be enough to push it through. Members of the Assembly in support such direction currently seem low, but possibly make up a huge majority in the Grand National Assembly. If the conservative support can be taken, the reformist wing of the USP seem reluctant about supporting such changes. So it's going to be hard to keep our party under control, it seems. We have a new bill for the campaign finance bill, which will actually benefit our party a bit. Let's sign it or veto it. So the major change here is the fund used to be assigned by percentage of national votes. So even if you don't break the threshold, you get some money. But now it's going to be based on how many seats you actually are given. So we will actually double our budget here. And I think we have to sign this for our party. Whatever the backlash may be. Of course, Richter has objected the funding package, but was overruled. Total amount of money is unchanged, just that we get a bigger share of it. USP hijacks elections. Right. The radical is not going to be our friend as we push out our policies. Time for our first economic discussion. I think that's the first time we are doing this, and there is a slight change because we do have a new law that has passed and some situation of unfair electoral funding. Can't make everyone happy. Alright, we have a couple new people. Simon Hall, our Minister of Economy. Gus, our Minister of Royal Development. And Lilius, which is our Minister of Interior. We're about to arrive at the White Room for our scheduled economic meeting. This was the room in the Maroon Palace where all important meetings were held. 2 assistants arrived first, carrying a heavy projector. They stood with it by the door, waiting for the ministers to enter. From the hallway, I heard Leah's Griff's voice. She was using the patient, almost motherly tone she often took in heated arguments. I mean, she was a staff sergeant in the army, was a successful mayor, and due to her talent at being mayor to a regional city, then to the capital, she's now the Minister of the Interior. Gus, do you really think that such an economically advanced area is more in need of investment than England? Lily, as my interior minister, strode in. She was clad in shades of brown and beige, and the only spot of color is the bright yellow North Star on her necklace. Gus followed close behind. Don't be an idiot, Lilias. What about the unemployment crisis the greater Halsud and Sordland region are going through? These areas are our economic heartland. Gus curled his hand into a fist. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development's temper hasn't changed since his days in Alfonso's administration, but neither had his reputation for getting things done. His far-reaching network of connections was unlike any other. Simon Hall quickly stepped between the 2 ministers without looking at either of them. He cleared his throat. Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, everyone. I'm very well and motivated, Mr. Rayne. It seems our ministers are feeling the same. I can clearly see that. What was that discussion about? We were having a discussion about the infrastructure plans. If I may, I would like to talk to you about the... Simon interrupts. We'll get there, Gus. No rush. First, I would like to conduct my economy presentation. Let's begin. Alright, he pulled a silk handkerchief out of his pocket, briefly wiped his glasses. My staff and I have comprehensively analyzed every aspect of... He was interrupted by a groan from one of the assistants by the door, both of whom are now visibly struggling to hold up the heavy projector. Oh, you can put that there. He pointed below the painting of President Soul. The assistant placed the projector next to the table and installed a widescreen on the wall. Leave now. I mean, thank you, and please leave now. The assistant left the cabinet room. I was reminded that Simon had never quite had a way with people, but his facilities with numbers had made him most sought-after economic specialist in Sordland. Simon started looking for his slides. He always carried documentation around with him. And we wait. The lady leans to the table and spoke. Simon, what happened to the new police station construction in E03? While going through his briefcase, he paused for a moment to answer. It got stalled due to a government property boundary issue. I have been meaning to look at it. I can take a look at that one. E03 needs all the security help it can get. Sure, more time for me to spend on analysis. His eye glittered when he finally found the slides you were looking for. There have been some developments about the Suzerain. That's the currency, I'm guessing SR. Losing farther value today. We have been trying to stabilize it with the central bank. Recession of 51 put enormous pressure on the economy, resulting in the collapse of the value of our currency. The entire situation was a significant cause of concern for our administration. Since economics is your forte, Mr. Rayne, we did go to school for it, it is possible that you might already be aware of the data. I can still explain the current economic situation in better detail. Oh, please do. Let's start with GDP. Not the best measurement, but just a good number. Our current GDP is 310 billion SR, and the national debt is 427 billion, so we are running about 1.5 times. Very similar to the US today. It's still very hard to fathom that we lost nearly 150 billion in wealth. The past 3 years were tough. What is our unemployment inflation rates? Unemployment has skyrocketed, it's now a staggering 16%, and the inflation is at a relatively high of 7%. Both very uncomfortable numbers, but not disastrous. Unemployment's increasing crime and drug use. We need to get people off the street. The inflation isn't helping our average citizen either. What is the status of the recession? The economy has been in a recession of about -6% in the past year. The average GDP has dropped from 15,000 per capita to about 10,000 per capita in 2 years. Okay. This administration's success depends on our ability to stop the recession. The sooner we can reach GDP growth, the better. Alright, let's talk about strategies then. And let's see. As you can see, the situation is alarming, but not everything is negative. The extensive privatization program of Afonso left us a large budget surplus, which we can use to stabilize the crisis. Oh, amazing! We have a surplus when we had. How is this not contradicting each other? I mean, I guess we have a running surplus of cash, perhaps, but budget. Maybe for the budget, but it's clear that we have a national debt problem. No. The primary subject we need to settle on is what general path we will take in our term. Sole economic based nationalization of industries happened in the 30s, and Afonso's privatization began during the end of the 40s. What will our administration focus on? One of our main promises was to promote a free market economy to stop the recession. To be frank, I believe it is the only way out of the recession. I still do not support it. Why promote the private sector when we have qualified state-owned enterprises? Because the lack of competition has made them inefficient. Ooh. These are some statements. Let's go with the first one. What are the consequences of the free market strategy? There are not many, but one could say that we are much more likely to be influenced by the world economy. It is important to think about this subject because the upswings of the world economy will reflect good on ours too. And when the global economy crashes, we go down with it. The structural problem of sole economic were going to lead to a recession according to the prediction at the time anyway. Either way, even if we pick one of the doctrines, we'll retain the option to make economic choices on a case-by-case basis. That is good to hear. That is, however, not recommended in my point of view. The last thing we need is a chaotic economic plan. Well, she's very old school, by the book type of character. Finally, we can agree on something, and Gus seems to agree. I'm on Simon's side. But anyways, there is another important point which has a direct impact on our economy: superpowers. We have done well not aligning ourselves with any one of them. Economically speaking, an isolationist policy overall could only work if we were to reap the benefit of both spheres and their rivalry. This is very dangerous to attempt, but still possible, and that is my goal. We need to play both sides. We must be very cautious. There are schemes being devised about Sordland. We cannot give in to their wants now or in the future. Otherwise, our country will be turned into a pawn. This game is called Suzerain, and if you know anything about the word, it means having your policies controlled by a higher power. But we are the president here. Right, let's keep things flexible. It's not aligning with them is not good, it's just that it's nice to stay neutral right now. We must make it work to protect our country and our values. There is no other way. We need to be open to other possibilities. Arcadia is a strong country. If we end up in their sphere, Sordland would increase its influence in the world. So, pro-Western? The deals we will get will surely bring us out of a recession. In return for what? Our independence? When the time comes, I hope you will make the right decision for our own good. Simon cleared his throat again. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Minister Wissy will be in charge of informing you on this type of foreign policy decisions. We must first decide on our eternal economic plan. Simon put forward a legal document outlining the possibility with both economic doctrine listed. The cabinet member looked at me. The last two questions are actually quite interesting. What is our long-term economic schedule? Picking a construction company, trade relations, tax reform, and privatization incentives will be some of them. Sticking to a solid planned economy strategy will be the right call. The 5-year plans were fruitful in the past. With a free market focus bring us stronger allies. It would make Arcasia look at our country in a more positive light. They are proponents of the free market economy. The influence Arcasia had on the world economy is extensive. Our economic strategy should be based on internal reasonings, though. I don't really have to pick, it seems, but we did promise a free market reform system, and I do believe in that having more benefits than a planned economy, so let's go with that. Let's finish what Alfonso started with the capitalist free market reform. His path were going to enrich Sordland. The recession was a direct result of his free market reform. History must note that the reason for the recession was because Edwin Alfonso was betrayed by his party. That is not true. There were plenty of time for him to do it. If you can't make change happen in 2 years, then you are at fault. Let's move on. What are your final thoughts then, Mr. President? Huh. There is a way out with the fourth option. I'm gonna go with this one. Opportunities for privatization, not really full-blown market openness. This is exactly my mentality. There are many possibilities that are waiting, like education or health privatization. It will be better to promote a market economy for these to have consistency in our plan. So what will our general economic plan promote? Free market, as we promised. I can't say that I agree with this. Yes, Lilias, but you're working in this cabinet as a member of the cabinet, not as the president. Now that there is clarity on which direction we're heading, I'll work on a good plan accordingly. This concludes our meeting. At our next gathering, we'll talk about the upcoming infrastructure investment plan. Now that the economic direction was taken, the minister dispersed for lunch at the Maroon Palace, and we are one decision deep into promoting free market or market economy. Many things has popped up, including more news. Economy meeting held in Hosod. Contacts close to the government report yesterday. Sordland's economy policy had been planned behind closed doors. Right, a planned economy of free market economy. The Meteorological Institute has reported record low temperatures of -29 in the city of Suzerain. A warning of frostbite has been issued in the cities of southern Bergia. Ooh, poor region. Homelessness a big issue. A man in his 20s had been beaten with a baseball bat in a paramilitary style attack in Ivory. The man claims to be attacked because his ethnic background of being Anglo-Scottish citizen. He was approached during a walk at a park by a group of right-wing extremists who are regulars at the local NFP party. Ethnic attack on the rise, bad weather conditions. A new prototype for the first pocket radio was displayed by the Arcasian Electric Company, Armadine Industry, in Ventry City. After 6 years of research, the engineer behind pocket transmitter radio have revealed that the material science question regarding the composites have been solved. The company is now filing patent. The CEO, Aaron Bridges, is predicting an IPO at the VCSE. This is basically New York, I guess, NYSE, in the upcoming year. In a bid to raise future investment, Mr. Bridges has called for all venture capitalists who believe in future of science and technology in the marketplace to invest in the company. The president of Arcasian, Dwight Walker, praised the president, president of basically America here, praised the bright minds of Arcadia engineer following the announcement, called for further technological advancement for the military-industrial complex. The number of people filing for unemployment in Morna continues to rise as the recession continues. The change in economic condition is historical and stunning in its speed. In the aftermath of the crisis of 1951, the unemployment rose to 9% in the following year. The last 6 months has almost erased all gains in employment over the last 2 decades. Not too bad, considering the country is running at 16% from our economic report, but definitely not a good sign. Bergia is losing the temperature, Suzerain. For the first time in 3 years, the agricultural output of Sarna has increased. Many experts link to the increased output both a drop in temperature and new farming practice which has been adopted in recent years. Additional farmers are access to more generous credit allowance from the government that were left over from Alfonso's administration. Minister of Agriculture reported that region's agricultural industry has potential to become a powerhouse in the future if investments persist. That is finally some good news. The recession led to a reduction in rail asset, with more than a fifth of the railroad network itself antiquated, being mothballed in the recent years. While the main line of the rail network are currently in service, the increased demand of goods from Gelsord to the capital is pushing the network to its limit. The rail signaling system in the region dates from the middle of the last century and is also in need of improvement. Money needs to be spent everywhere. The recent collapse of tourism industry in Linköping has led to a reduction in trade traffic and road maintenance. The road network is currently in service, but it's in need of substantial improvement. Ports, country road, bridges similarly suffer from lack of investment. Firm doing business in Linköping reports significant shortage of warehouse facilities, particularly refrigerated facilities, with application both for transportation system and ability to serve the public's basic food and health needs. Right, these are all terrible news, but let's see. Back in our hometown, I guess there's nothing else. Invest in mega infrastructure. 1 of 2 planned. Okay, let's take a look. The Ministry of Economy has put forward 2 bold plans for mega infrastructure projects that would help the economic recession in the long term. Investing in projects of this scale will take up some portion of our budget, but could prove worthwhile if accomplished successfully. Okay, so this is our budget. This is our wealth, personal wealth, and how to develop our economy is. We will take the infrastructure project. I wish there was more details, but I still think it's definitely a must. No news, but continued development. Maybe a discussion about what actual project we will be tackling. Okay, this is it. The view towards the Markian Sea from Lockhaven was nothing short of exquisite. The seaside state residence, fittingly named the Blue Mansion, was large, fine, accommodating. But enjoying the luxury mansion wasn't the main reason of our visit. We gathered the economic team here to discuss the new infrastructure investment project. The same 3, Simon, Gus, and Lilias. Half an hour has already passed since the start of the meeting. Unfortunately, I did not even have the chance to have my usual afternoon coffee. Looking at the view from the windows, I let my mind drift for a couple of seconds. Simon's voice brought me back into the ongoing discussion. Mr. President, we need to focus on boosting the economy as quickly as possible. One of the fastest ways to achieve this is through infrastructure projects. What can we focus on? On the one hand, businessmen are complaining about the slow logistic rail network between Hosod and Lockhaven. Leah's start talking as soon as Simon took a breath. On the other hand, citizens are criticizing the lack of a proper highway connection between Lockhaven and Avery. The narrow roads... Isn't she mayor of... Right. Narrow roads by the seaside are not only dangerous, but also difficult to traverse. We need to pick the most profitable option for economic growth, which is obviously connecting our two most economically powerful cities. So we're talking about Hosed and Lockhaven. It is not the business people that suffer, but the ordinary folk. Oh, she is gonna hate us, isn't she? What really matters, though, is that we can accomplish something tangible in your first economic act. That is true. We must prove our administrative capability. The people must know that this administration can get things done. No, we must fix the economy. But, both are important, but this is what I care about the most. Therefore, I define two important projects for your attention. The H3 Highway Project and the L1 High-Speed Railway Project. Mr. Ho repositioned himself on the chair to take a more comfortable posture. The ministry can only support one project at a time with the current capacity and budget. Let's move on to the details of each. So which one do you want to hear about first? Just give me the highway project first. The H3 project aims to improve the abysmal state of the road network in England region bordering Angolia. The area is home to several million Anglo-Sordish and Sordish who feel neglected. There are no proper highway connections to and from England, and the mayor of Avery, Eric Neal, has been asking for a bigger budget to develop the regional infrastructure. He told us that even trucks are having a hard time traveling through the main road. The increased traffic is causing trouble for people commuting in and out of the region. Okay. That must be cumbersome for the citizens. It is, bless their soul. I'm happy we're thinking alike on the matter. Let's take a look at the map. We're talking about this region here. She pointed. But this is a region clearly without any red roads, which are the highways. Avery is a big port. I believe we took a look at this before. It's a regional capital. It doesn't have a good port, last time I remember. And this is an inland city in the forests, if I remember correctly. And then we have Leenkerg. And these would all support trade from our neighboring country of Enolia, which is a big trade country, I believe. Merchant nation, yes. The H3 highway route starts at here and leads to Leenkerger. From there, it goes all the way to Avori. As a result, the road network towards the Angolian capital, Stalport, will improve substantially. She pauses and leans forward in her chair. I saw the central government continuously neglect the Anglo-Sordish dominant region when I was mayor. Yes, she's got her start there. Is this administration going to continue that kind of negligence? Well, my wife is Anglo-Sordish. I'm not sure if we're going to make this statement, but let's focus on economy. Yes, sure, but most goods flow to Lockhaven and Hosord, which give importance to logistics there. It has to be pointed out that the highway would be less beneficial in the near term. I have to disagree. It will increase the speed of transportation through the region. Our citizens will be quite pleased if we successfully accomplish this. Besides, if we enter trade talk with Enolia, they would see the investment as a positive sign. Let's hear the other one first. Your predecessor, Alfonso, has failed to deliver on this campaign promise, but now we have the opportunity to start the construction of the groundbreaking railway project. As you know, our current trains cannot meet the standard of today, as many other countries adopt this new electric engine technology to power up their trains, we fall one step behind. News about new electric trains in United Cantana has piqued the business interests. They too want to transport resource and material from Horsord to Lockhaven with great speed and efficiency. Please explain farther. Our plan is to upgrade the old L1 line from Horsord to Lockhaven. It will transform to a high-speed rail. Right, so it will link from here to here. The planned construction right here at the capital, it'll go to Enrica first, then Gelsword, then Lockhaven, our economic powerhouse. The L1 will significantly boost the economy on the newly linked cities and even the rural areas in between. Lockhaven's our primary port, so the goods offloaded there will be transported to Horsord much faster. I believe this. I believe this would benefit the business in Sordland as a whole. For wealthy and middle class citizens of these regions, but not for the poor dears who couldn't be able to afford the increased ticket prices. The mayors of Enrica, Curton Lesti, has also requested this project to be prioritized. He's also a member of the party. Longest serving mayor. But he's not in the assembly. Right? Because if he's a mayor, he's probably not in the assembly. One of the most popular figures. Businessmen in the region will be very content with which increases investment, employment. Therefore, I'll recommend the L1 high-speed rail project. And our decision will be... we're going to tackle the high-speed railroad. The right choice. Not sure if it's right, but it is a choice. And poor Lilius. You'll be able to award the contract to a corporation of your choice. Okay. The ministry estimate that the entire construction will finish in 2 years if every step going forward is executed successfully. Good. Is there anything else? This should be all, Mr. President. See you soon, Mr. Rayne. I wonder if she always called us that or she's just mad at us. Have a nice day, Mr. President. Evening settled on the beautiful coastline of Lockhaven. Alright, we're still in Chapter 1. Quite interesting. As we build up more and more decisions here. And back in the capital. Ooh, railway under construction. So if we look at the system here, electric railway with the red, we don't have any in the country right now. We have some old railways. And basically we're replacing this current railway with the electric one. And over here, we're going to be, if we did that, it would replace the national road with the highway, right here. Just this segment here. I still think the rail is probably a better project. Right, it's a matter of absolute growth versus relative growth. Like the starting point below here, you'll get higher relative growth, but like this will bring more total value. Anyway, let's see if we have any other things other than the capital there, in case we miss out any development. Nope. Let's see what they want us to do here. Invest in Arcasian company stock. Oh, okay, this is a follow-up. Right, because remember we got news that Armrent Industry with the Pocket Radio is having their IPO. This is personal investment, our own money. Gus is telling us this. Why are you telling us this? He has made major investment in Enrica. Well, my feeling is Simon. Simon is actually quite neutral, and it's all about the numbers. Right, he doesn't really have association with anyone. And the other two, Gus has his loyalties to Enrica and also the other Enrica mayor we talked about. And Livia's has her loyalty to, Avery. Well, he is dead, so he was CEO. HOS. What about this company? Guess they're not in our nation. Right, this is a good question. How risky do we want to be with our investment? Our budget's down to 2 because we spent 1 on the railroad. Our personal wealth is at 3. We can buy 1,000 share with each one. An experienced stockbroker is selling valuable share of Armadine Industries, an up-and-coming electric manufacturing company. We could invest or let the opportunity pass. This is always difficult. As president, making any sort of investment like this could, put us at risk. Either we buy a lot or we buy none. I think that's my take on this. I think we just don't invest. It could be a great opportunity, but I don't want this to sway our decision making going forward. So we'll pass up on that, and that leads us to the reception at the inaugural ball, which we'll come back to next time. I think this one will be all about our economic policies, and I'm quite happy where things ended. So we'll come back and enjoy ourselves with our inauguration ball. Until then, bye.